to corporate achievements. In honor of Black History Month, I've been highlighting the tremendous achievements of African-American business leaders. We're joined now by Vanessa de Luca, who served as editor-in-chief of Essence magazine for 5 years. Vanessa, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
So Essence magazine is an iconic brand. It's been around for about 50 years. Tell me about the importance of that magazine for Black women.
Oh, it's tremendously important. It represents the culture. It represents aspiration, inspiration, and the beauty of Black women.
And in terms of Black History Month, how important is it to highlight what leaders have done?
Oh, it's incredibly important because we need to make sure that our history is not erased, not put to the sideline, it's not forgotten. So having a moment to reflect on what the contributions have been and continue to be, like we saw last night on the history-making wins on the Oscars, it's incredibly important, especially for young people who might want to follow in these footsteps.
And when you were editor of Essence, did you spend a lot of time planning out racial issues such as, Black women dealing with wearing their natural hair or the types of lipstick or makeup that works with their skin tone? I mean, how did you handle that?
Oh, absolutely. It was very important to us to make sure that everyone was represented, meaning all skin tones, all shapes, all sizes, all all different kinds of hair textures. People want to see themselves reflected. They want to see themselves in the media that they're digesting. So it's having the power and the influence and responsibility was critically important to us.
Vanessa, can I ask you, since we have you and we're talking about how important Essence is as a brand and kind of as a symbolic presence in the media world, when you look at what's happening in print media, I mean, there's so many iconic magazines that unfortunately have folded. Or they say, we're not going to do print anymore, we're going to just do online, and then eventually they're like a shell. And so, now as you step back and you're no longer editor-in-chief of Essence and you look back at kind of the print media landscape, what do you think is happening? And is there a way to salvage the fact that a lot of these once iconic print brands are really, really, really struggling?
I think there's still a place for print. I mean, if you look at some of the digital-first companies, think about Medium. Right now, they're starting to go into doing standalone print publications, as a number of others have done as well. So there's still an audience for that. There's still that, you think about back in the day, people said ebooks were going to transform the book industry, right? People still buy books. It's still a very popular way of consuming, consuming information. So I think there's always going to be a place for it. It's just that there has to be a multi-platform strategy. It can't just be one or the other. It has to be multiple ways where people can find themselves in the information. Yeah.
Vanessa, as we've been doing, and Sabeel and Reggie and some of our other colleagues have been doing Black History Month stories, something that we've talked about a few times is the idea that it's really not like history, right? I mean, a lot of this stuff is really present, I guess, in what's happening right now. And I don't know, maybe it's just the first time that I've really thought about kind of the progress that I guess Black leadership has made in this country. And to me, it seems normal, but I don't think it really is, right? I think this is an important thing, and there are a lot of changes going on. And I would just ask for your perspective on that idea that it's really not even history. It's just sort of like, it's like, here, it's time to wake up and realize the role that a lot of Black leaders are playing in American life that perhaps we don't think about enough.
That's true. Well, it's interesting. Last night, the creator of Oscar So White, that hashtag, April Rain, was asked about, well, is there going to be a time when Oscar Snow White is no longer relevant? And she said, quite honestly, when you think about it, as long as there are still firsts, first like last night, like the first Black woman to win for costume design, the first Black woman to win for production design, as long as there's still the first Egyptian, man of Arab descent, Rami Malek, to win, as long as there are still those firsts, there's still a need to continue to make sure that the playing field is level for everyone and that everyone has an opportunity to contribute.
And Vanessa, I wanted to talk real quickly about what you're up to now. So you're no longer editor of Essence, but you've joined the startup of joined the advisory board of 3 startups that help Black women with networking. So tell us about that. And you also have your own podcast and your own website, the editor-in-chief.
Yeah, so I have, yes, very busy. So I have my own brand. After spending so much time building other brands, I have my own called the editor-in-chief. And that's where I house kind of all of my writing and editing and public speaking and all of those services. But I also am an advisory board member to 3 startups that are tremendous, all run by young Black women. all contributing something very unique, I think, to their various industries. One is called Canaries, and that one is a platform where companies can really find out more in-depth information about diversity and inclusion and how they're doing in that realm. A second one is Hurston House. That one is kind of like the Wing or like a WeWork, but for Black women. And then the third one is called Genie, and that's an inspiration and lifestyle box that basically, similar to a beauty box, but a lot more inspiration, a lot more lifestyle, very curated example of how to reach people in a different way.
Well, Vanessa, keep us posted on what you're up to. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.